Here we are in the wonderful world of wonder calibration disc from Disney, and we're going to be telling you which one of these TVs between the Hisense U8G at the top or the Hisense U8N at the bottom is the better TV. I'll just spit it right out. The Hisense U8N lost. The U8G is the winner. Now, let's talk about why that is. Smack like on this video for spitting that out in under 30 seconds. So you can see all of the contrast that the U8G does have. The general land is a lot darker, maintaining a lot more accuracy overall, where the U8N just kind of has a lot more shadow detail than the U8G at the top. And it doesn't look all that much better in any way, shape, and or form. We really see that once we get to land formations. As you see, there's tons of depth, and that depth adds a lot to the 3D factor. Where this looks more like a 2D image, this looks 3D. Kind of lesson for everybody out there that thinks like, hey, you know what, newer is always better and you always get what you pay for, because this is like an all-time high price for Hisense and it is not better at all. Furthermore, I just want to say that this is the first year Hisense has ever really gotten bold enough to drop promises. For example, they promised up to 3,000 nits and then they walked it back down to 1,800 nits. So it's not going to be anywhere near as bright as it should have been. And in fact, it's going to be a lot more in line with what the U8G even is pushing out, and I think that is just ridiculous. But the U8G has a better handle of colors. You can see in this scene contrast and color, clarity, and purity is better all around. You also have more depth, and the colors are richer versus more pale on the U8N, and this is post-calibration. I showed off again that it was very terrible out of the box, and that remains very much the case. If you go to Filmmaker mode, you'll see what I'm talking about. So this was after calibration, so there's not much that I can do to really save this TV past give it its best shot. And again, with its best shot, it just doesn't hold up the way that it should. In this scene, we can see the ground clearly has way more color, more accurate color on the Hisense U8G to the top. The U8N just isn't getting the job done with pale, lifeless, ugly color that just does not feel like a premium television. Furthermore, the highlight detail popping off of the roof here looks way better than down here. And then again, I really love the way the ground is just separating dirt properly and everything. This is what TV is supposed to look like versus what we're stuck with in 2024. In this example, we can see again more of the same. We have a ton of color in the house off to the left. We have a ton of color in the background here. The rocks look more natural, and the bird itself. I mean, as you just look at the Hisense, again, and let's run this back, by the way, for anybody wondering, the Hisense U8G is slaughtering the U8N to the point of no comparison. Look at the amount of crushing that happens on the Hisense U8N. You miss all of the rocks. So its idea is when there's darkness to make it really, really dark, or open it up and give you so much shadow detail that the TV looks damn fucking broken. I mean, look at that. It literally looks like a fucking, I don't even know, like an ungraded piece of footage. Like, it looks like that's the ungraded footage and that's the graded footage. And this is the Filmmaker mode for anybody wondering in the Hisense U8N. Again, they try to put it on the box as some big benefit for everybody, but when you really get down to it, it's trash. And that is something that very few people are willing to show you. And I will tell you in abundance, this TV ain't great and you're wasting your money on it. The reason I say that is because I'm looking at the U8G, a TV that's a couple years old now, trouncing it in every single way humanly possible. And the only way it has a fighting chance is if it's rocking my settings. Now, my settings have to make things a little bit darker, but in doing that, there's no real way to make it darker without the algorithm naturally crushing everything out. And we're talking only a couple clicks on the brightness slider. It ruins everything. And then you get posterization and the whole list of issues. It's just so literally terrible, to the point where it's just like, what really is the point then? That I don't really know. I don't know why the Hisense U8N 55-inch looks like this. I will leave a little bit of slack there for people to argue that, oh, it's just the 55 and the 65 is an entirely different beast. Well, you know what? Hisense should have gotten their act together when they advertised this and not, pulled people in on, hey, it's mini LED. And also, on top of being mini LED, it also has excellent black levels and yada yada. They went crazy with the advertising and you're seeing it in real time. It's not actually a champion at all, and in fact, it gets beaten in a lot of areas. I mean, really, I can't really say very many redeemable things about it when I'm looking at it comparatively against the U8G. It blows my mind truly to see. Look at Buzz Lightyear right now. Look at how detailed he is up here in every single way. You would think this is the U8G and this is the U8N, but it's the reverse. It's stupid. It makes no sense. I don't understand how Hisense could have fallen from making TVs like the U8G to now being so damn lazy. They don't even have the same level of quality. I mean, just look at the difference. It's huge. You have the depth in the background here, richer color here. The green is far more accurate. The purple is darker, purer, richer. You have the ambient shadow casting off of Buzz Lightyear's face that is almost missing on the U8N because of how damn flat it is. And the list is literally going on and on and on. It is about as stark a difference as I have ever seen between models from the same manufacturer. And it is so hard to believe that this is something that they would put their name on with full confidence. If I worked at Hisense, I would be so pissed off that they put my name on the box of this TV and my name on the front on a badge of this TV. I would fire everybody involved in the process of creation of this TV. That's how bad this is comparatively to where they were. And I guess maybe they don't expect those of us who archive televisions and hold on to them to be able to compare to see, is a company actually getting better? Because when you actually do that, you'll see a lot of issues. Now, don't get me wrong, brightness looks good. Like in this example, you can see a lot more clarity here and you can see a lot more clarity there, but it's not always perfect, as again, you've seen in many examples. In this example, you can see illumination issue on the Hisense U8N at the bottom, where again, you just have pale happening. Yes, it's bright, but it's pale. It's not pure, precise. When I say highlight mapping, I mean like anywhere there's a tiny little bright highlight that's supposed to exist on armor, reflections, anything, it exists naturally. It doesn't look artificial. And that's the thing with the U8N. It just has a very flat, artificial type of look. It doesn't look like a premium TV at all, where again, it just feels like you bought a cheap-ass TV. Look at the sharpness of how sharp that highlight is. And while yes, the black levels on the U8N this year are better, look at what it does. It crushes everything out here versus, again, you have that ambient casting from the top down where that is missing on the newer model. That should never happen, but it does. Now, granted, again, you can go into Filmmaker mode and just use the out-of-the-box settings, but you see how flat it would be. You'd virtually lose most of the benefit of owning a mini LED television. And it just would get to the point where it's like, why waste your time? And it's so hard for me to do these kinds of comparisons because I want to give a positive read. But again, out of the box, this is how it compares. So for those who, feel like, oh, you just want to sell your settings, I have no benefit in selling something that's discontinued over something that's brand new. If I really wanted to sell to you guys my settings and my services, I would tell you that this is amazing, run out and buy it, best TV you ever seen, every year like all the other publications do, and collect off of your ignorance. That's not how I work here. I tell you, look at the U8G beating the hell out of it. Now, granted, this has been fully calibrated, and this is Filmmaker mode, which is said to be accurately calibrated. You choose which one you like. I personally picked the image to the top. But again, we can get it closer by my calibrations now being locked in, and you can see it's a lot closer. You have a stronger highlight here on the U8N, which is lovely. I do like that. And again, the nice glow is wonderful and appreciated. And again, in this example, the image doesn't look so bad. It's actually closer to what we would have on the U8G. But that's where we have the problem. Closer is not what I'm aiming for when I'm spending this kind of money. I'm aiming for better in every single way. Because the truth is, it's been a couple years since the U8G launched, and there's no reason why I should have such a stark difference. And again, it might turn into more of a rant fest or seem like that, but the reality is when you're paying money, and a lot of it, you're supposed to get, I don't know, something more than what they're giving you. And again, the yellow looks better in this example. The blacks are just as good on the U8G as on the U8N in that example. So it's just, I don't know. And the reds, I mean, look at this scene. It's ridiculous. I'm almost getting pissed off doing this comparison because I'm seeing just how little they tried on this TV, especially at the 55-inch. And if it is the case where the 65 inches is a totally different beast and in a league of its own, well, that means that Hisense really should have just sold a 65-inch and left the 55-inch alone if they really were going to do it like this. Because you know what? They didn't do the U8G like this, where back in those days, with the U8G, you had all of the color, all of the clarity, everything that the 65-inch got, the 55 got. gotten. And now they're playing this weird little nasty game where, oh, if you don't give us the $14.99 that we want and you only pay $1,099, well, now we're going to crap on you. You're not getting 3,000 nits. And you know what? Now your TV's going to look like a turd comparatively to something that's older on the market that costs less money. Why wouldn't you just go with the older Hisense models? There isn't a single valid justification on earth I could pull out of my ass to tell you why you should buy the U8N over the U8G. It just does not make any sense. In this scene in Up, we can clearly see that there's just way more color in Carl's face. His nose, for example, far more accurate, versus this looks pink, more like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and not accurate like it's supposed to look. The door also has more of a pinkish hue versus a brown color that it's supposed to have, particularly more of that cherry wood look that we have come to expect out of Up. And again, if we look at the side paneling on the house, we can notice that that is more indicative of the way wood would actually look versus not. And again, playing the sequence, you can kind of see a lot more of what I'm talking about, where again, it just looks better. Now, Hisense on the U8N, in some examples, have a little bit more control over highlights on things like, you know, eyebrows and things like that. But again, it's not to a great degree. And again, if we pause, you can clearly see that the brightness is not this year a benefit because it's not intelligently tone mapping where highlights belong. If you look on the Hisense U8G, you can see clarity, you can see purity, accuracy of color, where that starts to dilute because now it's trying to brighten up everything. And by brightening up everything, you just kind of flatten out the image opposed to intelligent tone mapping, even in SDR, which is something the U8G did perfectly. Again, for everyone who kind of bought into the whole, hey, Hisense this year is a brand new AI upscale everything, you know, television. Well, just look at these balloons right now. The balloons very clearly show faded, pale, ugly color that is just trash. Now, again, to show you what it would have looked like out of the box and what it will look like out of the box for everybody not rocking my calibration settings, this is what it's going to look like. Even worse. So I really did give it its absolute best chance to try to help it along. But again, this TV is not known for contrast. It generally looks flat and ugly. And if you want to get a better picture, if you end up with this TV, then you definitely should join because you will get better than what they give you out of the box. But even still, you can clearly see there's just so much more depth happening on the Hisense U8G. And we can run back a couple of frames and you can see, look at the contrast in each balloon. You can see how each one is a three-dimensional object with proper shadows. That does not happen on the U8N, and that becomes extraordinarily problematic. Again, it really doesn't matter what sequence we take up. We're going to run into a lot of the same things. Like, for example, the background now does have a lot of posterization here on Wally. And again, on the U8G, it doesn't have any posterization. I make out every little detail. Something that lets me know that the newer models are actually getting worse because that posterization shouldn't exist. And again, the natural tone of the dirt and everything versus this ugly, darkish, reddish color. I don't know what Hisense was targeting when they made it this way. But again, there's just something about, again, pausing and seeing every bit of the accuracy in the dirt versus, again, pale and faded on the other one. And then look at the shade of blue here. I mean, we can continue this with any example that you want. I mean, let's look at Eva here. We're going to wait for her to kind of move forward after the smoke clears, if you will. But you can see she's clear. She's not really looking that great on the one at the bottom. Look at the tires in the background. Look at the tire trails. Everything pops and comes to life on the U8G in a way that is just not happening on the brand new U8N, which is extremely disappointing because you would have thought that, you know, again, for this money, they would have done something better than what they're doing here, and it's just not happening like that. Okay, so all in all, I mean, the verdict is quite simple. The Hisense U8G to the top beats the Hisense U8N by a massive margin to a degree I'm sure would shock almost everybody. From colors, contrast, clarity, purity, motion, I mean, everything I'm looking at is cleaner on the Hisense U8G. I don't see a purpose for the U8N to exist, and frankly, if you're in the market for a new TV, I would just buy the U8G. Now, some can say maybe we try the U8K, but the U8K has some motion issues, so honestly, I would try maybe the H9F or H9G or whatever's older. Don't do the newer Hisense right now because they just seem a little too money hungry. They're so focused on being better that they're just messing everything up. And I mean, if you look at this example, you can clearly see what I'm talking about. Look at the yellow in this example. It just looks bad. And frankly, that kind of boils down to the whole premise of this comparison. It is not better for the sake of being better. It is honestly just bad. And when it's bad, you kind of have to call it what it is. So the winner again of this comparison is going to be the Hisense U8G to the top. I want to thank you guys so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later.